Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and the most fucking things. I'm going to talk to you today about appearing knowledgeable on any subject, almost psychic. You may be put in a position sometime in the future where you've got to talk to somebody, perform when you're not adequately prepared. And this may be help to you. It's also the way that fake psychics do their job of entertaining you and guiding you. Now, the technique that I'm going to talk about is applied cold reading. This is, it starts with some examples of what it is that you can agree with. We'll have some examples of low risk. We'll move up to some examples of high risk, and we talk about where you can use it. Now, what is applied cold reading? Applied cold reading. Applied reading is where you appear to know more than you expected. So, the way we do this is being prepared. So if I make a statement rather than a weak question to you, and if I want to find information, how are you, sort of thing, that's quite straightforward. We'll talk about business. If I make a bold statement, how can I cope when it is wrong? That is being prepared by having a way of reframing, by changing the context of that statement, so that by changing the context, it is now right. The objective is to always be right, no matter what. Okay? By being prepared to alter the context of the question. Now, you're helped in this as psychics are helped, because most people remember things when you're right, and most people want you to be right. So they forget the things you get wrong. This is how psychics work. I'll start with a few statements that most people couldn't agree with. Now I'm going to use personal ones rather than business ones to make it easier for the group of us to work with. They're called Barnum statements after that great showman. You say to you, you have a strong need for people to love and like you. Or you might say, you tend to be self-critical. And these are things that most people agree with. You can also say things where you say they're both one thing and the other. So you give them both qualities. You're a very considerate person, helpful to others. But if you're really honest with yourself, you recognise a selfish streak within you. These are the sort of things that you'll see in horoscopes. And sometimes some unprovable suggestions. Somebody is working on your behalf in the background, but you won't know about it. Can't possibly be proved wrong. Then we go to a few statements where you can have a 50% chance of being right. This is a good place to start with applied cold reading. So, I want you all to think of somebody significant in your life. Just go, somebody who's important to your life. Think. Okay. Now, you're thinking of somebody older, aren't you? And somebody says, no! But that's because you thought of their mature nature. You move on. It is a man you're thinking of, isn't it? No! Why, you're thinking of his masculine qualities, or her masculine qualities. Okay. They have dark hair. No! Well, because it was in what I'm picturing in my psychic messages coming through, and it must have been a very dark night seeing when I first saw them, that's why I thought they had dark hair. Okay. They're taller than you. No! Okay. Well, it must be because you look up to them for their wisdom and knowledge. So you change the context so you're always right. Sales have grown. And you say, no. Well, obviously, not for you, but other companies have, or some products have, not all products. You can generalise and change the background as much as you want. Now, let's add in a few high-risk ones. They're great if you're right. They're impressive. You have a number 1 on your door. No? I must be confused. It's the house next to you. Or perhaps when I'm thinking of you, you're looking across the road, and I can see a 1, you're looking across the road at a 1. Or it might have been your previous house that you lived in. But we'll get there. We'll get a 1 on your door. For a girl, I can see a time one autumn evening, autumn Christmas time, you're going to a party, and on the way you slipped and broke the heel of your shoe. If you say no, you can't think of it, well, perhaps I'm seeing what's going to happen in the future. So watch out for it. So, now, another one. Somebody in your life, early in your life, whose name begins with either J or G, was very important to you, and you've lost contact with them. You can't think of it as, well, what I'll do is I'll let you go away and think about it, and you come and talk to me after I've finished later this evening and tell me who it was. Okay? Always right. Always right. So, when do we use cold reading? Well, in business where you're knowledgeable, you're prepared, you have these statements ready so you know how to cope with the situation when you're wrong. In Toastmasters and table topics, if you want to be a psychic, if you're socialising and want to build report, it's a good way because people like to agree with it, go yes, 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 get into a yes chain, if you know the jargon. Other places, have you ever read the book Game about pickup artists? They use these sort of techniques. An interesting book, anyway. And it's easier than it looks. So I want you to encourage you to go away. Instead of when you meet somebody first time, don't say to them, ask them lots of questions, make a few statements and be prepared to cope with it when they say no. And perhaps you can use it in business. That's what I encourage you to do. So, if anybody wants, I will do a demonstration in the break. Thank you.